Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip, and you are not. How you doing? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Check out this sandwich. What are you thinking, guys? Turkey with Swiss, lettuce, tomato, and chicken bacon. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uncured chicken bacon. What do you think of those peaches, pears, bananas, strawberries? Can't say bananas anymore. It's a little difficult when I brush my teeth now too. Guys, okay. Let's give Gypsy a wee bit of a break and let's talk about Fancy Macelli. And the reason why is because Uncorked with Brandy put out a video that I thought was very important.
I could never do that to somebody. I could not use their past like that to scare them into there. And that's when I started talking to Natasha, and I was like, you don't understand. I just want to get in here and like rip her to shreds. But then I was like, do I really want to do that like on that level? But sometimes I really do, guys. I feel like just going in. And the whole thing is she wants me to say that Gypsy and Christy handpicked me out of the interwebs and planted me at Nick's leg so I could give them information.
Okay, so here's something I want to go back to. If you've been watching Into the Weeds podcast where they're reading the emails that they got in the FOIA on Gypsy, they read the email from Dawn that confirms Dawn's story right here, that Gypsy and Christy had nothing to do with it. And I would hope if Into the Weeds and Millennial found emails in there that showed that Gypsy and Christy were behind any of that, they would have read them. Because that would have proved what some believe. They haven't found that because it doesn't exist. It just doesn't.
Very important. So let's understand that Brandy used to work with Fancy. They both worked together on, one of the many names of the companies that Fancy has come out with, which some have been pretty clever, I do think that Brandy went there with good intentions to start something that was that had integrity. I do believe that. I believe that was the case, and I believe that the falling out came from the way that Fancy treats people and the fact that Fancy is just full of fancy's full of fancy BS, but still the same fancy. So there is now, and this is neither here nor there with Brandy, but Gypsy has those emails at the most convenient time because, Nick is trying to get a fair trial here, and now Gypsy has these emails. She always gets stuff like this at the most inopportune time for Nick, and things happen with Nick at the most inopportune time when people are legitimately trying to fight for him. And, so I totally blame Fancy, as I've said, for these emails to even exist. Now, I know that Brandy has said, hey, I think that Dawn was already talking to Nick before Fancy got involved. And okay, that's true. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. But I do know, as well as everybody now, that Fancy scripted Dawn with things to say that would trigger Nick because, as Fancy has said, she never wanted him to see the light of day, and she had no regard for Nick. Even when supposedly she was the self-proclaimed expert when it came to Gypsy, she still didn't have anything to say that would have been nice about Nick. So she spun the narrative for where the paycheck was coming from. So she thought,
planted me at Nick's leg so I could give them information. For what? I don't know, because Gypsy was already incarcerated and was sentenced, so I have no idea. And maybe somebody could tell me.
She wants you to do that now because
the emails that they're reading are emails that Dawn wrote Nick, and Dawn had given screenshots of those messages to Fancy. They were in her drive. Originally, Fancy had those on her Discord, not her Discord, sorry, her Patreon. Then she took them down when she started trying to spin this whole Nick being a victim spiel that she was doing in Team Nick. And having that up there, she couldn't do that. So she removed them. Fancy and then pushed Dawn to write those emails to get him to react that way. He still reacts that way now with people. Wish I could share them with you. I can't. There's a side to Nick that is scary, and it's not okay. And he really does need help. I heard that, Michelle. I heard she's taking emails from Into the Weeds and putting it behind her paywall. I heard that.
Now, Brandy, in all fairness, and I get this, I so understand this, you know, how they were writing acceptance speeches for the Emmy of the great show that they were going to come out with, and this documentary or docuseries or whatever it was that they were going to come to that never came to fruition, unfortunately, for Brandy, was where they shared with each other who was going to, you know, have the Emmy for that week and how they were going to share it. Do you really think, Brandy, I just want to know, do you really think if that would have happened, do you think that Fancy would have ever let you or anybody else take that Emmy home? No. And I don't think she would have given you guys the credit. She's ready to give the credit. Fancy's always willing to give the credit when things go to hell. You know, when things go to shit, Fancy's always willing to give the credit. But when there's great success, never. Fancy has called somebody who was nice enough to pick her up and take her, go out of their way and take her when her own family was throwing the luggage out of the car, couldn't get rid of Fancy fast enough. Pink Hat Sarah picked her up. Whether you like Pink Hat Sarah or not, she was accused of kidnapping. There is rumor to that, and that's messed up. You know, for going and picking somebody up and having to deal with that, you know. And then I know that Fancy has nothing nice to say about Amber Into the Weeds. You drug that woman into that shit. That woman was just out of the kindness of her heart getting a room for you. You know, getting a room for you because she thought you were doing the right thing. You proved to her she was wrong in her thoughts about you. You did that on your own. Fancy, you do it on your own to everybody. Brandy worked with you. At one time, Natasha worked with you. You have taken things from people that they've spent money on to put behind steal from them, take credit from it, and then put it behind a paywall. How desperate do you have to be, and how much integrity do you have to lose for somebody to finally say, she's full of shit? Any which way the shit smells, her nose goes. It's as if it's gold. I mean, guys, on Monday mornings, Rebecca Michelot and I do Monday morning talks with Rebecca Michelot on my other channel. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip. It's about getting through the week. It's about recovery. It's about struggles. It's about addiction. It's this woman, Dawn Boker, who was manipulated once upon a time ago. Brandy shows pictures of how this woman physically looked and how she looks today.
Out and put it out there, and I'm sure you remember this. When I found out that her name wasn't Francesca Macelli, because I couldn't imagine somebody actually being named that, and I found out that her name was April Johnson, I put her mugshots out.
Oh yeah.
And then Christy found out that she wasn't who she portrayed herself to be. She lost her shit, and she lost her gravy train. And so then now, since Gypsy got out of prison, she's been on the pro Nick train.
Brandy has shown that this woman is going for her bachelor's. I mean, she has come a long way. And Fancy is willing to risk this woman's life, this woman's sobriety, and crumple it up and just throw it away, no matter how much work this woman has put into her life to change her life, to better herself. Fancy says, yeah, F that. I need you to do this. It's more important that I screw you up and dangle all the work that you've done and the past that, you know, you're ashamed of, if you're ashamed of it. And you shouldn't be ashamed of it. You've come past that, Dawn. So please don't let anybody look. That's your growth. That's something to be proud of. It's despicable and disgusting what Fancy is doing so that she could save herself. The desperation. That's just horrible. And guys, what I want you to remember is when Brandy speaks, when she speaks, this wasn't what she expected it to be at all. She was hoping that this was going to be a positive business, creative endeavor that turned into a shit show that was about getting what you can get and ego. And that seemed to fall on the fault of one Fancy Macelli, who has always gotten confused. It is more important that the message get out there, much more important than the voice putting it out there. Get the message out there. Okay? Fancy changed the message because it was more important that you hear her voice, her dramatics, just to show you the personality and the continued pattern of behavior. Guys, what do you think? Talk to me in the comments, guys. What do you think? This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Thank you so much. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell. Guys, thank you for the super chats, the words of encouragement, the words of support, the PayPals, and the Cash Apps. Guys, thank you so much. It's so appreciated. Though your subscriptions, they just go a really long way. And thank you to all the members. I so appreciate you guys. And don't forget, I have another channel. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip, but nobody takes the time to listen until now. Thanks, guys. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow.
Again, Dawn, I am proud of you. You have taken control of your life. And this right here, you sending me those text messages between you and Fancy and you going on Natasha's panel and telling your story and your side of things is taking your power back from an emotionally bankrupt, psychotic individual.